Let's continue. So I was saying that my experience have made me feel I've created that burden on me to always want to talk about this with parents, so that to prevent children going through one or two sexual abuses, or just to make children get them informed so that they'll be much more enlightened on cases like this. Seeing more on sex education, on how to sex educate our children. And now this brings me to the meaning of sex education. When we talk about sex education, what are we talking about? Sex education is a phrase made up of two words, sex and education. When we check the meaning of these two words, we'll come to a good definition. And now I define sex education as a gradual process of acquiring, instructing, or impacting knowledge on the activities which are associated with sexual intercourse. Sex education can also mean the process of creating awareness on how to control or manage the feelings resulting from the urge to gratify sexual impulses. What are we talking about here? Sex education simply means acquiring knowledge or instructing knowledge or impacting knowledge on activities that have to do with sexual intercourse. We're talking to, the context we are looking at here is sex education on the aspect of parents talking to children. Yeah, that is the context. So that's the context I will be focusing on. Sex education can also be for adults. It can be for adults also, but the context I'm focusing on is parents talking to children. So it is the process of creating awareness on how to control or manage the feelings resulting from the urge to gratify sexual impulses. I want us to underline the word feelings there. Underline urge, underline feeling, underline urge, and underline gratify sexual impulses. This second definition it will be very meaningful when you are talking to the adolescents or the teenagers, as you may want to call them. You can hear somebody say, you always hear them say, I have crush for this person, I have feelings for this person, these and that. So sex education helps them. It tells them it creates that awareness, inform them on how to control or manage these feelings. What other things does sex education do? Sex education also involves the teachings, which includes, number one, general orientation on sexual issues. When you're teaching your children, giving them general orientation on things that has to do with sexual issues. We are not teaching them I'm not trying to say you teach them how to have sex or the styles, or no, that's not what we're talking about. But you teach them basic knowledge. And these teachings we are talking about are age-based. Where you impact sex education on toddlers is quite different from the way when you impact sex education on preteen. It's different from the way you impact sex education on preteen. And also different from the way you impact this knowledge to teenagers. Yeah. So general orientation on sexual issues. Now, the second point I have here is, remember we are looking at what does sex education entails. The second point here is intimate relationship. It involves teachings concerning intimate relationships with same sex and opposite sex. Please underline same sex here. Underline same sex here. Yeah, when we were growing up, and the much that we had of then. If anybody wants to talk to you about one or two things in this context, you hear. As a girl, you hear, don't follow men, no, don't keep boyfriend, this, that. there is much concern about the opposite sex. Excuse me. About the opposite sex. But in our today's world, when we are talking about this with our children, let us not just focus on the opposite sex alone, because a lot is happening in present days now. Same sex also. So when we're talking about sex education concerning, we are talking to your children concerning sex education, you want to talk to them, and majorly maybe the adolescent, you're telling them, be careful about your intimate relationship. Don't keep intimate relationship with opposite sex. You also need to mention same sex, because we have homosexuals everywhere. We have lesbians everywhere. They are increasing in their numbers, and let's not shy away from the truth. That's the truth. So we need to talk to them, tell them what they need to know, not to be involved in anything that we anything of this contest, any intimate relationship. That in Africa there is this adage that says that when the handshake has past the palm and is going down to the elbow, then you know that something else is involved. It's actually a proverb in Africa here. So when you're talking to them about things like this, and talk to them about opposite sex, also talk to them with same sex. When you see a girl like you or a boy like you trying to act funny towards you, don't see it as there is nothing there. Please be careful, take heed. All right, the third point I want to mention here now is awareness of sexual predators. We need to teach our children that there are sexual predators everywhere. By the grace of God, I've been able to write, I have many write-ups concerning sex educating children, and I've been able to launch a book concerning this. I think 2 months ago, I organized a symposium and a book launch on this. And in that book, I wrote extensively about sexual predator. In fact, I gave just one full chapter concerning sexual predators, how they operate, how you can discover them, So we need to talk to our children about sexual. Who are sexual predators? Sexual predators are people that go out to hunt for other people that they can sexually abuse. There are people that go out to hunt in one way or the other for other people that they can sexually abuse. So in this context now, you may want to call them pedophiles. Yes, they can be pedophiles, but have in mind, pedophile is maybe a grown-up trying to molest a child. But sexual predators can also be a teenager trying to molest a child too. So let's not keep our eyes on fully grown adults alone. Children also molest themselves. So any sexual predator can be a child, can be an average person, can also be an adult. For the questions, there will be time for questions, but let us just focus on the teachings first. We'll have time for questions. All right, so we'll manage our time judiciously. All right, so you need to talk to your children about sexual predators also. When we say sexual predators, talk to them about them, what they should do, what they should not do, how they should behave, and when people are trying to behave funny towards them, what they should do. Very vital. Very vital. How they are supposed to comport themselves. Very vital. Now, the next point I mentioned here is you have to teach them about the advantages of abstinence. Advantages of abstinence, and this goes majorly to the teenagers. You need to teach them why the advantages of abstinence, why they should abstain from sex, from early sex. They have no business with anything relating to sex now. Sex is made for the married, and that is how it should be. They have no business with anything relating to sex now. And now when they are abstaining from sex, it is not just sex alone, but all that is related to sex. If you're abstaining from sex, you have no business, with necking, pecking, cuddling, tight hugs, and all that. You are abstaining from sex and you are exposing yourself to things that are close to sex. It's just like putting a yam and a goat together, and you say, I trust this goat, you throw in the yam. It's almost not possible. It's almost not possible. All right. So, that being said, we need to teach them about body chemistry. Our body chemistry, and this body chemistry, you have to start teaching majorly the preteen down to the teenagers, all from the adolescents. We need to teach them about what's called body chemistry, and that you need to make them understand the difference between infatuation and love, that they are not the same. That infatuation is not the same as love, that you are having feeling or what you call crush. It's not the same as love. It's just something going on in your head and your body is reacting to it. Yes, attraction, yes. You can be attracted to somebody can be attracted to you. Of course, if I'm talking about when you are talking to your teenagers now. Remember, for the teenagers, they're already in their puberty stage, they are adolescents, so their hormones are active. So you need to know how to talk to them so that you make them understand that those hormones that are being active is a natural thing, but they have the capacity to put their emotions to check. You need to talk to them about behaviors, from how they behave towards other people, and how they should watch how they behave towards other people, and also watch how other people behave towards them. Very, very vital. The next thing we'll talk about now is the essence of sex educating your child. Why do we need to sex educate our child? One of the vital things we need to talk about. Number one I'm stating here is that if you don't do it, others will do it, either formally or informally. If you don't sex educate your child, other people will sex educate your child, either formally or informally. What we are having now is a formal sex education. What you are supposed to do to your child, when you are talking to your child, you are telling him or her this and that. What he or she needs to know in this context is a formal sex education. But now, the informal one, what do we mean by informal sex education? Informal sex education refers to other unstructured sources of sex information to which an individual might be exposed to. Yes, when you allow children to be exposed to other things that have some sexual content in them, you understand, like movies where adults are making out, musical videos where the erotic dance and all those things, or you expose children to seeing adult nakedness, their aunties and uncle kissing and all that. Those are informal sex education, and you never can tell what will be running through the mind of that child. A whole lot will be running through the mind of that child, and because the child is not informed, the child is not educated, anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong. All right. Now, the second point, the essence of sex educating your child, is that there are many sexual provoking contents around that are capable of corrupting the innocent mindset of a child. There are many we see. Ordinary billboard adverts. We see people half naked. We see different things. Now, there are some adverts you see, you want to imagine, is this ordinary toothpaste that we are advertising, we are seeing here, or is it something else? It is quite unfortunate the world will find ourselves. Everybody want to look sexual provoking before they think they can pass a message. Do you understand? So, and these things are not good for the mindset of our children. So let's be careful. If we do not sex educate them the right way, they will get this education in another way, and you may not like what you get. The next point here is so that sexual predators will not take advantage of their innocence or vulnerability. When you sex educate your child, they are already informed. You already talk to them, they already know. So when sexual predators come around them, they won't be able to, in fact, they will be embarrassed and they will not be able to have their way. And that will not make your child to be so vulnerable. Do you understand? Because the child already knows. The child has been informed about this. The child already knows. So another essence of sex educating your child is that it's to keep them informed and not ignorant. Like I said, the child is not ignorant. The child already knows about this thing. Then the last thing I mentioned here is that it will help in bonding. It will foster bonding between children and parents. I hope I'm not talking to myself, please. I hope. If you are, can I see your hand again if you are hearing me? Just 1 or 2 hands if you are hearing me. I hope I'm not talking to myself. Hello, everyone. Uh-oh. I hope I'm not here alone. Yeah. All right. That's good. All right. So the last point I have here is that it will to foster bonding between children and parents. I remember those days when we were young, and there's always this auntie around, maybe in the compound, that will want to talk to you. The things we get those days, may God help us. We always have 1 or 2 aunties that want to tell you, okay, how are you? That want to show concern and care, that want to ask, you have a boyfriend and all that. If the boy says this, tell him this. If the boy says that, tell him that. And of course, my mom will not tell me that. Do you get it? So, you always be eager. The day a new boy says hello, you want to go and see that auntie. One new boy talk to me, or this, that. Because that auntie is discussing something that is very, something that concerns has a close relationship with sexuality. You now find there's this attachment. You get it? There's this attachment. So it happens here also. It's the same. When you start talking to your children with things like this, it fosters the bonding. It makes you bond quickly. When you are doing this, you don't need to be too hard. You don't need to add surprise or anything, but you just need to let it flow. Even if for any reason the child has messed up, do you get it? Don't bow your head down or start finishing the child. Oh, you did this, you did that, this and that. Don't do that. You understand? Look for a way to balance it, even though at a point you are disappointed by what the child, but it's a good thing that the child is opening up. Because if the child didn't open up, how would you have known? So it fosters bonding. Then the next slide is talking about the challenges of a molested child. Challenges of a molested child. What is the challenge that a molested child go through? That child will have wounds that may not be cured easily. Let's not go there. If a child is not well, nurtured in this, and things goes wrong, in one way or the other, the child may have wounds that may not be cured easily. You may not be able to imagine the emotional trauma and all that, and the child can be easily distracted. I've been there, and it's even good that I'm laughing now because oh God. When we say distraction, I mean distractions. The child would, in one way or the other, can be acting strange, might be withdrawn. The child will be depressed. The child, you see anxiety, you see the child exhibiting fear. There's this fear in a molested child, this fear of, I hope it won't happen again. Yes, there's this fear that I hope it won't happen again. And because of this fear, the child can be unnecessarily defensive. Even when there is no, you want to, unnecessarily defensive. Before you say one, you want to, like, in any way, an unnecessary suspicion. Even when there is nothing happening, the child will want to suspect, like, I hope this person, if somebody's just being nice towards the child, I hope this person is not planning something bad and all that. You get it. So there are many things that comes with this. There's also trust issues. We're just scratching the surface. I'm just running through this because we are just scratching the surface. We have not even gone deep. We've not gone near anywhere. We have not gone deep. We're just scratching the surface. A lot can happen to a molested child. In those days when we're growing up, that exposure have not come up to this level. When we see children that are withdrawn, children that are any little thing, the child is just like, the child is anxious, anxiety, the child is depressed. When we see children acting in one way or the other, we are so quick. In the eastern part, we call them obanje. Do you get it? We're so quick to like, this child that does like an obanje, you understand? That does like someone that has an evil spirit. That's the interpretation. Do you get it? But certain things might have gone wrong that is making the child to act that way. You may not know. So there are a whole lot of challenges that a molested child goes through. A lot of challenges that a molested child goes through. All right. I've said many things. I just want to exhaust this. Then I'll open, give time for questions and maybe one or two contributions because our time is really running fast. Yes, and I would not want to forget, like I mentioned earlier, that I wrote a book extensively explaining things that has to do with this. Things that have to do with sex education for children. And this is the book. It's called Sex Educating Your Child, Its Process, Essence, and Impact. The book is 5,000 naira. The book is 5,000 naira, but for the sake of this program, for all that I've connected here, I'm slashing the price to 3,000 naira. And if you are interested, you can make your payments to this account, and you send your payment receipts to the WhatsApp group. I would open the WhatsApp group now so people can comment. You send your payment receipt to the WhatsApp group, and after that, we take it from there. It's available on ebook, it's available in hard copy, but I'm based in Abuja, and I don't know if you need a hard copy. We may, we will talk and we'll know how you can come and pick it. But please, the delivery is on you. The delivery will be on you. But we can meet. I can tell you where you can meet me to get the hard copy. But if you want the ebook, I can send the ebook. And I'm slashing it from 5,000 to 3,000 naira. So, to be sure I've not been talking to myself. Please, can we discuss now? Can I have the questions?
Yeah.
Can I have the questions? If you want to say something, can I just see your hand? Can I just see you waving your hand, please? Please. Let's say something so that I'll be sure I'm not alone in this. Let's say something. Or there is a slide you want me to go back. Maybe you are jotting and there is a slide you want me to go back. So
Hello, ma.
thank you. Hello, I'm listening.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, ma. I have a question, ma.
Okay.
My question is join this, and I'm so happy I joined it.
Okay.
But my question now is started any of this with child that is already 90.
With a child that is already what?
stand.
It's actually curtain.
We and in hello ma.
It's coming and going, coming and going. It's not flowing.
Okay.
But sincerely, I want to get your question. Okay, can you repeat now, please?